Hello.
Hello. Woo! Yeah.
Everyone, thanks for coming tonight. We were debating when to do this thing, and we decided, I think it was on Friday, or Thursday, or Wednesday of last week to do it. I want to make sure my Windows. I use a Windows laptop. By the way. It's badass.
Whoa!
It's the muscle car of laptops. I just want to throw that out there. It's good. It's good. All right, we're working. Okay. So we want to just throw. This isn't going to be like a whole thing with this presentation and all that. This is going to be a few minutes. Thank you for coming. It was short notice. We didn't know when to do this, and we decided, all right, let's do it. And so now we're here. So before we get started, first off, the Readability team is here. They're scattered about. They tend to hide when you stare right at them, but they're here and they're awesome. And raise
your hand.
Raise your hand. Yeah. Just one thing. Just one thing. If you recruit them, I will find you and kill you. Just throwing that out there. Okay. So Readability. Came out of this kind of bigger thing. Arc 90 is where Readability came out of. A lot of Arc 90s here. I will also kill you if you take any of them. They're here as well. Readability sibling, Kindling, is also here. A lot of people from Kindling are here. So it's great to have family here. My real mom is here too. So and my real wife is here too. So the family, I put that in quotes up here. Before I say a couple things, I want to give like a piece of advice, okay? So if you're going to throw a party, don't depend on Apple approving your thing for the party. All right, order the food, invite the people, book the place. But if you're waiting for Apple to approve your thing, don't make that part of the party. So we're throwing the party anyway. We're hoping, we have all kinds of love that we want to send towards Apple right now. Let's just like pause for a moment and send it that way. So click approve and let that thing through and let it happen before Thanksgiving or something. So that's just a little like kind of piece of advice. So I just want to talk for 60 seconds about like the story behind this thing. This thing started as like 150 lines of JavaScript in March of 2009, and it just exploded immediately. And it's kind of a weird thing to write this little simple tool and then see it explode in such a dramatic way and become something that people connect with beyond it just being code, right? And we were perfectly happy with this thing just sort of fading off into the sunset. And instead, it just kept going, and it kept gaining momentum. And Amazon went and put it in the Kindle, and then Apple went and put it into OS X, and now it's in your iPhone and your iPad. And that's it's such an exciting thing to see. And I think what it speaks to is how Readability resonates, and how Readability kind of represents what people really want out of the web. And that's something that we didn't expect, and we didn't know what to do with. A year ago, we sat around and said, we should do something. Because we were watching all this happen around us, and we thought this was an important thing. You sit around and you start like, you think about marketing copy, right? And you're like, okay, awesome reading app, awesome, beautiful, reading comfortable. There were all these great words that were coming out of us. And we said, this is kind of a movement, right? Like you've got apps taking Readability and kind of putting it into their guts and doing all these interesting things, right? From Flipboard to Zeit to all these new experiences that were really coming about because of Readability. And we said, this is kind of a movement. And movement sounds really cool, but one project does not make a movement. When you say something like movement, really you're talking something bigger than what you are. And when you think about something bigger than what you are, you have to pause and say, okay, well, how do we enable that movement? How do we make it something that really people can connect to and multiply? Like, how do we make it explode? And that's You know, when we think about readability, and you know, we say, what's the business plan? And people ask us that. They say, what's the business plan? And there's not a lot of thinking around sort of a spreadsheet and a chart about how readability succeeds. We just see it as something that is really driving a shift in how we read, how we consume, and how we interact with the writers and publishers that are doing what they're doing. And, you know, I think there's some VCs in here and some investors and stuff, and I'm supposed to get to a slide at the end of it where there's like a growth chart of like how it's going to make a shit ton of money at some point. And I didn't have it. All I said was, I was like, this is big. Like, this is something that's in the pipes, right? It's sort of lower level, and you know, we just gotta go do it. And they just sort of look at me and then they offer me tea and then I leave. So, you know, and so when you think about a movement for us, what's incredibly exciting for us is that it's not just a movement grounded in technology, it's a movement grounded in writing, in accessibility, in publishing, and there are people here that are not just from the technology world. They're writers, they're journalists, they're from publishing, and that's exciting to us because when you're sort of sitting in the middle of all of that and you're able to do something powerful, it's sort of beyond what you can come up with in terms of a feature set and whatnot. So you know, when we sit around and we think about what readability is, and this is sort of a diagram that I share with everybody. So, you know, is Matthew Howard here? There he is. Okay. So when we thought about, okay, publishers, you know, we're on 47th and 3rd. We said, you know, there's no excuse. We should go talk to people who publish stuff. They're like 10 minutes away or walk away. We should go and understand what they're doing and what's going on, right? And I'll admit, when we go to publishers, we're really not sure what to make of it because they kind of they look at us and like we're weird. They look at them like they're weird, and we're trying to figure out sort of a way forward, right? And they understand that their readers are loving what we're doing, and they want to do things that their readers love. And for a lot of publishers, there's this sort of conflict, right, that they're dealing with. And you know, when you think about the New York Review of Books, the New York Review of Books isn't going to pump out 45 posts a day, right? It's about reading and about the experience around reading, the intimacy around reading. And you know, we went there, and I think Jeffrey McIntyre is here. There he is. We went there and we kind of we told our story, and it was kind of quiet in the room, and we weren't sure what the reaction was. And we walked out. You remember Jeffrey? Like, I don't know. It was the reaction. And then the New York Review of Books decided to kind of take the lead, and that for us is so significant in that it represented an understanding that this is what people are loving, and what else is going on out there with how people consume stuff. And it's just been, you know, it's exciting to see that, and we think we're like literally at the very beginning of what we can do with publishers. So this is like what really gets us excited, right? Developers, I thought that like we get 5 to 10 API key requests a week. Chris corrected me and said we get like 5 to 10 a day, but like the ones that they're not sure what to do with, they forward to me. So the platform is, you know, we call it a platform, and we want people to build amazing things on it, and we hope one day what we'll see is somebody building something that just blows us away, that is beyond anything we could have built, right? That's sort of the goal for readability. That's what we want to see that come out of readability. And the API is something we talk about. Oh, there's an API, you can do all kinds of cool stuff with it. But the API, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, API calls are what, 3-4 times?
Oh yeah, 12 times?
Our API calls are 12 times our client calls, right? That I think tells the story right there. We're sort of embedding ourselves into the piping of what's going on, and our apps are great, and we're going to talk a bit about the apps, and it's incredibly exciting what we have going on. But 12 times what we're pushing out, others are using the platform for. So if there's any way to sort of put together that this is a platform, this is it. So one of the things we want to announce tonight is an app that has been built entirely on our platform. And for us, we think that's a milestone, because what that means is someone has decided to leap forward, make a bet, and actually build something on top of what we've done. And that's incredibly exciting to us. There's integration here and there in a bunch of different apps, and that's great, but to know that someone is committed to the platform is incredibly exciting to us. So I'm guessing a lot of people in this room are familiar with longform.org. Everybody raise your hand. So Max and Aaron are hiding somewhere. Oh yeah, hiding right there. All right. So Max and Aaron approached. Well, I'm not going to tell a story. You guys should tell the story. So come on.
I was worried this was going to feel like a wedding speech, and it kind of does. So we approached Rich let's not talk about how long it was, because it was supposed to be 2 or 3 months ago, but it was actually 9 to 12 months ago. And it was an idea for an app, just because he's someone I respect as a thinker. And he said, I don't know if you guys know at all what we do. We curate great long-form journalism. That's about it. We have always created a website that you can save articles from the web to read later, and we thought a step forward would be to deliver it directly to the iPad. So we came to Rich with this concept, and he said, actually about 80% of what you're trying to do, we can supply to you. So we ended up partnering on this app.